Welcome to World of Hackers channel. In today's video, we're diving into the world of file sharing services, the protocols that power them, why they're still widely used, and the risks that often come with them. There's a lot of valuable information ahead, so feel free to pause the video anytime and come back when you're ready to keep learning. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Introduction: Why File Sharing Still Matters. In today's hyper-connected world, file sharing isn't just a convenience. It's a foundation of digital communication and productivity. Whether you're collaborating with colleagues, backing up critical data, or managing infrastructure across multiple systems, file sharing protocols enable seamless movement of information across local networks and the internet. From small startups to massive enterprises, digital files must flow, and they must do so securely. Yet, for all the benefits, file sharing comes with a hidden cost: vulnerability. Misconfigured protocols, legacy systems, and poor access controls have turned many networks into easy targets for cybercriminals. Time and time again, we've seen major breaches originate from an exposed file share or an unsecured transfer system. And the truth is, most users, and even some IT teams, don't fully understand the risks. That's why this series is so important. As part of our mission at World of Hackers, we're here to not only explain the technology, but also to show you how to use it safely, responsibly, and confidently. Chapter 2. What is file sharing, really? At its core, file sharing is about accessibility. It's the act of transferring or allowing access to digital files, like documents, software, media, or configurations, from one user or device to another. While the concept is simple, the methods and protocols behind it are vast and complex. Whether within a single office or across continents, file sharing allows systems to exchange data in real time, enabling productivity, collaboration, and automation. But file sharing isn't limited to human users. It's also the backbone of how systems back up data, replicate files between servers, and distribute software updates. It powers your NAS drive at home, the cloud backup system your company relies on, and the development environment used by global teams. The protocols that make all this possible, like FTP, SMB, NFS, SFTP, and rsync, each serve unique roles, but all share a common vulnerability. When misused or poorly configured, they become one of the easiest ways into your network for an attacker. Chapter 3. The most common file sharing protocols. The digital world uses many file sharing protocols, each with its own strengths, weaknesses, and ideal use cases. Some are built for speed and simplicity, while others prioritize encryption and fine-tuned access control. Knowing when and how to use them, and how to secure them, is essential for any IT or cybersecurity professional. In this chapter, we'll walk through the most widely used file-sharing protocols, what they do, why they matter, and where they often go wrong. Let's start with SMB, or Server Message Block. This protocol is common in Windows environments and allows users to share files and printers across a network. Linux and Unix systems use Samba, an open-source implementation of SMB. While SMB works well within internal networks, exposing it to the internet is a serious security risk. It has been targeted in some of the most notorious cyber attacks in history, including the WannaCry ransomware outbreak, which spread by exploiting vulnerable SMB shares on unpatched systems. The takeaway is simple: never expose SMB to the internet. Use VPN tunnels if remote access is necessary, and always disable older versions like SMB version 1. FTP, the dinosaur that refuses to die. FTP, or File Transfer Protocol, has been around since the early days of the Internet. It was designed to transfer files from one system to another, and for decades it did that job well. But times have changed. FTP transmits all data, including usernames and passwords, in plain text. That means if someone is watching your network traffic, for example, on public Wi-Fi or an unsecured network, they can see everything. It's like sending a postcard through the mail instead of a sealed envelope. Despite these flaws, FTP remains in use today, largely because it's easy to set up, works with many legacy systems, and is supported by most hosting platforms. But ease of use does not equal safety. Using FTP today without encryption is like walking through a dangerous neighborhood with your wallet hanging out of your pocket. If you must use it, always wrap it in encryption using FTPS, or better yet, move to a more secure protocol like SFTP. FTPS, securing the old school. FTPS, or File Transfer Protocol Secure, attempts to address the vulnerabilities of FTP by adding TLS or SSL encryption to protect data in transit. It allows you to use traditional FTP workflows while encrypting credentials and file transfers, a major upgrade over plain FTP. However, FTPS can be tricky to configure correctly, especially when dealing with firewalls and active or passive mode settings. FTPS is a solid middle ground for environments tied to older systems, but looking for improved security. It's far better than standard FTP, but if you're building a modern file sharing system from scratch, SFTP or rsync over SSH is usually the better option. These protocols were designed with modern security principles in mind and are significantly easier to secure across different environments. SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol. SFTP, or Secure File Transfer Protocol, is often confused with FTPS, but they are entirely different under the hood. Unlike FTPS, which is a legacy protocol with encryption added later, SFTP was built from the ground up to be secure. It runs over SSH, providing both encryption and strong authentication by default. SFTP is widely supported, highly secure, and extremely versatile. Whether you're running Linux servers, managing web hosting environments, or automating off-site backups, SFTP is one of the most trusted tools in a system administrator's toolkit. When combined with key-based authentication, IP restrictions, and rate limiting, it becomes one of the safest file transfer methods available today. Chapter 4. Why these protocols are everywhere. File sharing protocols are more than just tools. They're the invisible infrastructure behind countless business and personal workflows. Every time a user accesses a company drive, syncs cloud files, pulls a remote backup, or uploads a new website version, one of these protocols is likely operating behind the scenes. What's remarkable is how many of them, like FTP, SMB, and NFS, were designed decades ago, yet remain heavily used today. This longevity exists for several reasons. These protocols are deeply integrated into operating systems such as Windows, Linux, and macOS, and they come pre-installed on many NAS devices. They're also easy to configure for internal use and often don't require third-party software. In many small business and legacy environments, they simply work. But the same simplicity that makes them convenient is what also makes them dangerous when security is ignored. Chapter 5. Why file sharing is a hacker's playground. For attackers, exposed file sharing services are some of the easiest targets available. Tools like Shodan, Census, and Mascan allow attackers to scan the entire internet for exposed services in minutes. When they find misconfigured SMB, FTP, NFS, or rsync services, exploitation often follows quickly. The problem is rarely the protocol itself, it's misconfiguration. Organizations leave FTP servers open with anonymous access, expose SMB shares with full permissions, or publish rsync daemons or NFS exports to the internet without realizing it. Attackers are constantly scanning, and once access is gained, they can steal data, deploy ransomware, or move laterally through the network without triggering alerts. File sharing, when left unsecured, becomes an invisible backdoor, and one of the most overlooked entry points in modern attacks. Chapter 6. Real security risks of file sharing. When it comes to file sharing, the risks are more than theoretical. They're painfully real. One of the most critical issues is unencrypted data transmission. Protocols like plain FTP or older versions of NFS transmit files, and even login credentials, in clear text. That means any attacker on the same network or positioned between your user and the server can intercept everything with ease. It's a serious problem, especially in shared environments like public Wi-Fi or open office networks. Another massive risk is over-permissive access. Admins often configure shares to be accessible to everyone or give blanket read-write permissions to save time. This may seem harmless until a user accidentally deletes critical data or an attacker uploads malicious scripts, documents, or even ransomware. Add in poor network segmentation, lack of firewall rules, no brute force protection, and zero logging, and you've got a perfect storm. File sharing, while essential, must be treated with the same level of security scrutiny as web servers, email systems, and database infrastructure, because the risks are just as high. Chapter 7. Should you still use file sharing protocols? Absolutely, but with caution. File sharing protocols aren't inherently dangerous. In fact, they're a fundamental part of how data moves across systems and networks. The real issue lies in how they're implemented. When configured correctly, with secure defaults and strong authentication, many file sharing protocols can be both efficient and safe. For example, SFTP offers encrypted, authenticated transfers. rsync over SSH provides reliable backups with minimal risk. And SMB, when used internally and properly segmented, can be incredibly useful. However, problems arise when file sharing is treated casually, as something set and forget. Businesses often deploy FTP servers and never revisit the configuration. Developers might enable anonymous sharing for speed and forget to lock it down. Over time, what was once a useful service becomes a hidden vulnerability. File sharing should be used, but never blindly. Just as you wouldn't host a web server without HTTPS or expose a database without access controls, you shouldn't run file sharing protocols without fully understanding the risks. Use them, yes, but use them wisely. Chapter 8. Best Practices for Secure File Sharing. Securing your file sharing systems starts with a simple mindset. Assume everything exposed will eventually be attacked. From there, best practices become a matter of good hygiene and defense in depth. First, never expose FTP, SMB, NFS, or rsync directly to the internet. If remote access is required, use a VPN or SSH tunnel. Second, disable legacy versions like SMB version 1 or older FTP daemons that lack encryption and access controls. Next, enforce strong authentication. Use secure, unique passwords, and wherever possible, use SSH, key-based logins for SFTP and rsync. Limit access to specific users and directories, and follow the principle of least privilege. A developer shouldn't have access to accounting files, and a guest shouldn't see anything at all. Also, monitor activity. Enable logging, review access records, and use tools like Fail2Ban to protect against brute force login attempts. And most importantly, patch regularly. Many high-profile exploits, like Eternal Blue, target known vulnerabilities in unpatched file sharing services. Updating your software is one of the simplest and most powerful defenses you can deploy. Chapter 9. Secure alternatives you should consider. If you're planning a new file sharing system or looking to modernize an old one, it's worth considering some secure alternatives that offer enhanced privacy, better control, and stronger encryption. For example, SFTP remains one of the best options for secure server-to-client transfers. It's simple to configure, widely supported, and based on SSH. Combine it with rsync over SSH, and you have a highly efficient, secure solution for automated backups and incremental file syncs. For teams that need real-time collaboration or document versioning, consider a self-hosted platform like Nextcloud. It supports file sharing, calendars, contacts, and full end-to-end encryption. Prefer a cloud-based provider? Try Proton Drive, Tresorit, or Sync.com. All privacy-first services with zero-knowledge encryption. For advanced scenarios, zero-trust tools like Tailscale, Cloudflare Tunnel, or Citadel offer secure, authenticated remote access without opening ports to the public internet. And if you're managing code or internal documentation, private Git repositories offer auditability, versioning, and strong access controls. The bottom line is simple. Better, safer options exist, and they're more accessible than ever. Chapter 10. Final Thoughts from World of Hackers. At the end of the day, file sharing is neither good nor bad. It's all about how it's used. These protocols are vital tools in the world of IT, but like any tool, they can be dangerous when misused. Too often, breaches begin with a forgotten FTP server, a misconfigured Samba share, or an open NFS export. It's not that these services are inherently broken, it's that they were set up without security in mind and left unpatched and exposed. At World of Hackers, we've spent years helping businesses audit their infrastructure, harden their systems, and prepare for what's next. We've seen firsthand how a single open port can lead to catastrophic data loss, and we've seen how strong fundamentals, when implemented correctly, can stop threats cold. Our advice is simple. Audit your file sharing systems, harden them, monitor them, replace outdated services where necessary. Because in cybersecurity, it's not about fear, it's about preparation. And when it comes to file sharing, preparedness is protection. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. We hope this deep dive into file sharing protocols has given you a better understanding of both the power and the potential risks that come with them. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who care about cybersecurity and protecting their digital infrastructure. Until next time, stay informed, stay secure, and stay one step ahead.